Hello, my name is Andy and I am the village idiot, and I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. Welcome back to North Lincolnshire. Now I'm starting this one in the car. I have Nikki with me today. Hello, Nikki.
Hello.
I'm waiting for this rainstorm to pass because I'm not walking around in this, even though I have done before. You've seen me do it before in places like Sturtonley Steeple. If you watched that episode in Bassetlaw, that was an experience. But today I've actually got the luxury of being able to wait a little bit, and I don't think Nikki wants to get wet, do you?
No, and it's not just rain, it's hail too.
Okay. Well, when we eventually get out of the car, we'll be exploring East Halton. East Halton is a small village and civil parish situated close to the Humber Estuary, approximately 4 miles northwest of Immingham and 1 mile north of the neighbouring village of North Killingholme. 7.5 miles to the west is Barton upon Humber, and down the coast is Grimsby. The parish to the northwest is Goxhill. The 2001 census recorded a population of 604 people, increasing to 626 at the 2011 census. This village and parish are on the south side of the Humber, almost due south from Kingston upon Hull. A small creek runs along the north edge of the parish out to the Humber, called Halton Skitter, which gives its name to a trail you can walk along the Humber Estuary. Also running along the estuary is the Skitter Sand silt bed, and that's not easy to say. Generally speaking, the land here is low and sometimes marshy, but on the upside the soil is rich and fertile, and as a result this makes it a great place for agriculture. No surprise then that historically this has been just that, a farming and livestock raising area. However, the 20th century brought about a partial change of industry. Those changes came in the form of oil terminals on the coast and a brickworks, although small-scale brick making has been a thing here since Saxon times. You wouldn't know that 5 minutes ago it was throwing it down with hail. Look at the bright sunshine now. It's actually quite warm now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot better than it was a few minutes ago.
Absolutely. I've still got my gloves on though.
Walking in slush.
In White's 1872 directory, the village is described as widely scattered. It's a little more than that now, as this main route around the village was an easy to plan circular walk. Like many of the villages which lie on the south bank of the River Humber, there was a ferry service to the north bank. This was a twice weekly sailing across to Hull on Tuesdays and Fridays. These days that ferry has disappeared. Now this one is, generally speaking, a square shape if you look on the map. We're just walking around the four sides of it. We've just come down King Street and we're about to go down Townside. When we're finished with this main walk around, I'll be heading up Station Road, because there used to be a station here, and you can still see where the line was, and you can still see where the old station building is. We'll go investigate that in a short while. There's a few footpaths linking various parts of the village together as well, as we're about to see, but please ignore how Nikki describes herself in this next clip.
It's very tiny footpath. Couldn't get my fat ass down there.
East Halton had an important military role. A balloon headquarters started in a semi-derelict farmhouse just north of the village in early World War II. The area was still rural at that time with no piped water or sanitary drains. Those improvements came shortly after the war. The unit was designed to protect the oil tanks in the area as well as the important railway lines. Balloon units were seen as important defence mechanisms. The one here had a brick wall built outside each downstairs window to minimise bomb blast damage. There was a water tower at the rear, and during the war the house was surrounded by Nissen huts. The stores building would become what is now Eastview Dog Kennels and Cattery on Townside. That's not the only piece of military history East Halton has either. Stick around for some more. East Halton's demographics as of 2019 look like this. It's a parish which has a population density of 44.56 per square kilometre, and most of the residents here are white British, a figure that comes in at 96.2%. Most people are of working age, but I did notice the largest age group here is the 50 to 59 bracket. Perhaps then, this is a place which will soon have an ageing population. I wouldn't mind retiring out here, that's for sure. The average house price helps too. It's only £166,000. East Halton's Grade 2 listed Anglican church will kick off the amenities section today. This is to the south of the main village and is right on the border with North Killingholme. The lit gate serves as the village's war memorial, and we've seen this kind of thing before with plaques on the side listing heroes from the parish. The church is dedicated to St Peter. It originated in the 13th century and was restored by James Fowler of Louth in 1868, who raised the chancel and aisle. It's part of the Abbey group of churches, the abbey in question of course being Thornton Abbey, not too far away down the road. Given its quite obvious Norman architecture, I was surprised there was next to no information about it out there on the web. Nice church though, and well worth a visit. The village had both Wesleyan and primitive Methodist chapels. On Townside there's still a Methodist chapel. We'll see what happened to one of the old buildings shortly. East Halton has one shop which doubles as the post office, located where College Road meets Townside, known as Towels Corner. And as well as that, we have a few local businesses too that sell their goods on roadside stalls. Here there's some eggs for sale on College Road. And opposite the church you'll find a sign pointing you in the direction of some local honey. And by the way folks, Lincolnshire honey is unbeatable. There is no history of when the first school was built here, but a board school built of brick was erected in 1878. Currently, East Halton Primary School is a small establishment on Mill Lane with about 60 pupils. Parks and recreational areas are something East Halton has no problem with. Right in the centre of the square, as it were, you'll come across East Halton Park. This is a large open space with play equipment and a football pitch. We didn't walk all the way in, so there could have been more too. Then we have the Millennium Green, and this is a lovely peaceful spot opposite Towels Corner. This is where you'll find the parish notice board. The green is managed by a charity, the East Halton Millennium Green Trust, based at Granby House on Townside. At the back of the green is a stone trough which bears a plaque stating when the green was opened, June 1998. Now I thought something looked familiar about these lamps. Look, City of Lincoln. Thought I'd seen these somewhere before. Despite my best efforts, I could find no reason why these would be here and not in Lincoln. My best guess is they were donated or gifted to the village, but I have no idea when or how. The Black Bull Inn is the village pub and restaurant. It's also used as a hotel, together with the neighbouring Sensei Suite. It's likely a convenient location for workers at nearby ports or oil terminals. No, it's not in use, but I imagine buses still do stop here.
Yes, there are, Evan.
Well, saw one in Thornton Curtis, didn't we? So
Yeah.
there's probably one here too. There were Wesleyans in East Halton as early as 1791, and they built their chapel here in 1805. That chapel was replaced with this, which is now a village hall. So there is a date stone above the door here at the village hall. Very difficult to read, but trust me, it says 1889 up there. And I couldn't let this section go by without mentioning the Amethyst. These past two episodes in North Lincolnshire were filmed with an overnight stay in this very nice hotel. Okay, we're back at the car on Mill Lane, and you can see the ice has sort of disappeared a bit now. It's not as bad as it was when we first got out of the car. Yeah, Nicky gives it the thumbs up. Right, okay, time to get in the car now and drive towards the old station and the old railway line. East Halton Railway Station was located on Skitter Road and was on the New Holland and Immingham dock branch of the Great Central Railway. The line's primary purpose was to enable workers to get to and from Immingham Dock, which was being built at the time the line was opened. The typical journey time to the dock was 15 minutes. The station was the only one on the line built with 2 brick-faced platforms, though the second track and platform were removed in later years. In 1954, the platform facilities consisted of a seat, a corrugated iron shelter, a station sign reading East Halton Halt, and 2 lamps. Shortly after closure, the track was lifted for about 100 yards from the junction at Goxhill, leaving the line through the station as a long siding, which was sometimes used to store redundant wagons. Okay, so this is a track that leads to the Halton Skitter trail, which runs along the bank of the Humber. Now, I can't go any further than where I'm stood right here, because on this gate it says that access to the Humber bank from here is only at the landowner's discretion, so obviously I can't walk any further. I was hoping to get a bit closer though, because you can see on the horizon there a chimney. That's because there was a Brickworks in East Halton, and that's where it was. I believe that you can access that Brickworks by going up there. There's a car park, I think, on the border between East Halton and Grimsby Parish. I think you can walk along the trail from there, and it comes past here to the sea terminal. Don't quote me on that, I'm not totally sure, but yeah, I was hoping to get a bit closer. What I will do is, from this gate here, I will take a shot of that chimney zoomed in with my phone camera, and then the rest of it, I found some nice pictures in preparation for this, just in case I can get close to it, that I can put into today's picture bit. This brick and tile kiln and associated chimney was constructed in the early 20th century for Wilkinson and Houghton Limited. The company is listed as builders and joiners and started trading in 1896. The fishing pond behind the kiln was most likely the clay pit for the tile and brickworks. The company ceased operating circa 1939. It's the largest surviving brick and tile kiln on the Humber banks and was Grade 2 listed in July 1987. Now, unlike the Brickworks, I can access this. Now, this is an anti-aircraft battery, and it looks like it's used now primarily for agricultural use. I can see some bales of hay and things in here, but all these buildings in here used to be part of the aircraft battery, and it's on a public footpath. There's nothing wrong with coming down here, so let's have a quick look. I'm not going to spend too long here because Nikki is waiting in the car, opted not to walk down this path. I don't blame her because it's quite muddy. Let's see what we can find in here. Now for some more of that military history. I had to dig pretty deep to find information on this place. This is East Halton's World War II heavy anti-aircraft battery, designated Humber H24. It's located to the west of the village, and you can get to this via a public footpath which runs close to the Amethyst Hotel. This was manned by the 270th Battery of the 91st Royal Artillery Regiment in 1940. It was listed as unarmed in 1942, and the site is now used by a local farmer. The main red brick building here is the bathhouse that was used for site occupants. There was a water tower here at one point, and the one surviving Nissen hut has now collapsed. I'm not 1,000,000% sure if this site had anything to do with the other one mentioned earlier, or if indeed they are one and the same thing, but from what I can gather they were 2 separate entities. Time for a picture bit. Here it comes right now for the parish of East Halton. Well, I think Nikki made the right choice by not walking up there because it was so muddy. It was unbelievably muddy. I do have my wellies with me in the car, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. So yes, Nikki, you made the right choice by staying in the car.
Somewhat warm, warmer than I have been.
Yeah. It's still pretty cold outside, although the sun has come out now. We haven't got any ice or hail on the windscreen anymore. Anyway, that's the parish of East Halton, and I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you. I was just about to wrap up as usual, but at that point my camera battery died. I changed the battery to re-record, but as you can see, this shot came out all blurry for some reason. So today it's a case of voiceovering the outro. I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and this has been the parish of East Halton, and I'm out.